Jacinta, how can I find a good man? Jacinta, where do I find a good man? These are some of the many questions that are actually in my DMs, and the most of it is all about finding a good man. So, how can I find a good man? That's why you're here today. And if you're here for the first time, don't forget to subscribe, to like this video, to share it, because I know you're not the only one who has been asking yourself this. And let's get this message out there because they're good men. I'm married to one, and I'll be telling you all about what to consider and all about finding good men. So, karibu, welcome. Thank you for being here. So, how do you find a good man? Well, if you've gotten to this point, I know you're expecting me to tell you something like you need to dress like this, you need to talk like this, or you can find a good man here or there. But, yes, but, there's a but. The but is, to be honest, there is no specific formula for finding a good man. The only sure guarantee or sure bet here is that you need to be the good woman who can find this good man. A story was given whereby this man, because it was a man when I was reading it, and he came to this older man for advice, asking, how can I get a good woman? I'm ready for a good woman. I'm now well stable. I have a good job. I have a car. I have a house. I'm now ready to get a good woman. So how do I go about doing that? And this old man told this man, listen, go sit down, write all the qualities that you want in this good woman of yours, and then this is where the catch is. Ask yourself, are you all these qualities? So I'm just going to be asking you the same questions today. As you sit down and you highlight and you have this idea of how this good, healthy man should be looking like, sit back and ask yourself, am I this good woman? Yeah? Because I always say, if you've been here before, you know that I always say this a lot because this is the motto of everything that I stand for. You only attract who you are. Back when I was in this toxic relationship, believe you me, this is who I used to be. I always say that if you're in a toxic relationship, believe you me, you have played a hand in it, you're also as toxic as they are. Or you have things about you that are very equally toxic. So before you go reaching out for this person, ask yourself, am I this person? And this is what I'm going to be talking to you about. It is not just about finding a good man, but equally, it is like the equal signs. I want a good man, which is equals to I am a good woman. So how can I become this good woman to be able to attract this good man? Yeah. So I'm going to go on into my first point, which is self-improvement. You know who you are. You know your qualities, how they are. You know, and actually you know who you are based on the people that you actually have been dating. Look at your past relationships. Look at all the men that you have had in your life. Those will be the men who will actually tell us more about you. Looking back into my life, and especially in the relationship that I was in, all the chaos and all that, that is exactly who I used to be. And I will tell you something. If I continued being this person, and you see this in a lot of women who leave one toxic person always end up with the next toxic person, it's because they have not worked on this very critical aspect, self-improvement. If you have not worked on being a better woman, you will never be able to find a better man than the one that you had. So in order for you to become the best version of yourself, or to get this man who is the best version of himself, you need to start by being the best version of yourself. Ask yourself, and this will also be another point, ask yourself these hard questions, which is also point number 2. Be honest with yourself. We can lie to our friends, or we can even lie, we can dress well, we can do makeup, we can look like these beautiful angels, but deep inside we know ourselves. You know yourself more than anyone else. So sit back and ask yourself, am I this good woman? And if I am not, what do I need to do? Maybe your standards are so low. Maybe somebody says hi to you and you're thinking that you're in love. You know yourself, meaning that your standards are still very low. Even before your friends point it out to you, you already know it inside yourself. So, how about being very honest with yourself? Sit down, have a meeting with yourself, tell yourself, Jacinta, I have been like this and like this. You are the only person who knows yourself more than anyone else. Remember, we have different faces. We have the faces of who we really are, we have the faces of what we want to show the world, and we have the face of the you that you don't even know is there. And sometimes it can even be like resilience, like if you've been able to overcome things like I have, I look back and I'm like, wow, I didn't know that I even had that in me. Yeah. So go back into that. Okay. Go back into the basic, the core of who you are, and be honest. Capture all those things, all those aspects of you that you know you need to work with. If you need help, there is therapy. If you know there are certain aspects of you, maybe like addiction, I don't know whatever it is that you're dealing with, late at night when no one else can actually be able to help you, this is the time for you to work on it so that you can improve yourself and become a better version of yourself so that you can attract better. Yeah. On to my third point. You need to learn about the difference between a healthy and an unhealthy relationship. I always say that I was 30 plus years when I learned that there is actually a huge difference between a healthy and an unhealthy relationship. Because you basically think that when you get into a relationship, you're just supposed to make it work. But do we know that at a certain point, this is not healthy and it will never work, and this is healthy, this is what we need to actually work on? If you have not come to the realization of that, then you have no business even looking for a man. Why? Because you might end up in another relationship that might be unhealthy, and then the cycle continues, or it's worse for you, or even you might end up losing your life. So before you sit down and think, I'm looking for a good man, he might be a good man, but remember, you really do not know a person because you're dating them, you're getting to know them, yeah? And you cannot really label someone as a good person until you have been married to them or in a relationship with them. So even before you get into that relationship, how about learning about a healthy versus an unhealthy relationship? Once you do that, and this information is everywhere. It is in the internet. You can go to a therapist. You can work with a coach like me. Just find out the bedrock of relationships. Sadly, our first relationships, like the people who are supposed to show us what healthy relationships look like, sometimes do not have the capacity to do that. An example, people like our parents. That is where we learn mostly about relationships, yeah? So if you learned about how relationships should look like from your parents, and right now you look back and you're like, that was really dysfunctional. Imagine then your idea or your concept of how relationships should look like. So learn in the right places and the right way how a relationship should look like for you to even move on to the next step of wanting to get into one. On to my fourth point. This was something that became one of the best parts of my growth and healing, and even made it very easier for me to find my good man. It is the self-love aspect. Self-love will become a game changer to you. Imagine just being so at peace with yourself, being happy with yourself. Because I remember for me, and even I have had this with a lot of women out there, you struggle to being alone. You struggle to just fill the void inside you. You keep feeling like you need someone to come in and fill it. Why? Because you do not have this aspect called self-love. The minute that you get to love yourself, there are even things that you'll not tolerate. You will be seeing a toxic person and you're like, no, I'm not putting myself in this situation. DMs like the ones I get to see where women keep saying, my man cheated on me, but he still says that he loves me. My man wants to bring in a second wife. I'm not comfortable with it, but do I leave? If you love yourself, then you put yourself first. You will not get yourself into situationships. You will not be in situations that are serving other people. You'll be in a situation that makes you feel calm, peaceful, and happy. And this was, like I keep saying it, a game changer to me. It just makes you glow a different way. Remember, under self-love, it's a whole umbrella, 10 branches. It has things like self-care, it has your self-worth, self-forgiveness. It is a whole bunch of it under there that you really need to master. And if you'd like to learn more about it, DM me on any of my socials or even comment down below. Tell me, Jacinta, I would like to learn more about self-love, because that will become a game changer, not just in your day-to-day life, but also in the relationship aspect, and especially in the journey to finding a good man. Yeah. On to my fifth point. You will be amazed at how insignificant this might look, but it is a game changer. And not just in finding a good man, but also in any other relationship. And I will say this because I personally struggled with it, and it's had to be something that I really worked on. Can you guess what that is? Well, let me not keep you guessing. It is emotional maturity. Emotional maturity, I know what you're thinking. Like, how can you not have it? Well, you might be surprised. I will explain it like a bit more. When I would have issues with people, I never knew how to address it. So most of the time I would either find myself blocking people out of my life. I have cut out a lot of people from my life. Some who maybe did not deserve it, and some who deserved it. Yeah. But the huge aspect here is, had I been emotionally mature enough to understand that there's a way I can communicate my needs in a different way, maybe I would not have lost some people from my life. Yeah. So, and this also comes in even in relationships. Like, if I had not learned this, I would not even have been able to get married to the man that I'm married to right now. Because you find that it can come across as, oh, you're not just blocking people, but maybe you shout at other people when you're angry. How do you deal with your emotions when you're angry? That is what emotional maturity is all about. Some of us shut down. When you're shutting down, what are you doing? Either you're just subtly being manipulating. You expect people to guess what you want. And in the long run, some people are like, you know what, I cannot deal with this. So you end up even blocking out the good people in your life, or maybe the man who feels like, I cannot deal with this, because it's kill like. And this does not just come from nowhere. Maybe it came from your childhood. Maybe you grew up with a very strict parent who never enabled you to express yourself, especially coming from the African culture. You know, where we were not like brought up to question our parents. What they said was law. So you could not even reason with your parents. They tell you, Jacinta, you need to behave in a certain way. You had to behave like that. And that meant that growing up, you do not even know, how do I express myself? How do I say no? How do I even explain this to someone? So you do not really grow up knowing how you can handle conflict or how you can express yourself in a better way. And you develop this coping mechanism, like shutting out people, leaving before they even hurt you. And in the long run, what are you doing? You're sabotaging yourself. You're locking out the good people. You're closing doors on even the good person in your life. And I know some of us have lost very good men from our lives or in our lives because of this. we self-sabotaged. We were simply too much. We were simply dramatic. Like if right now you maybe asked my ex about me and I'm talking about all these aspects, they'll tell you, no, that woman was too dramatic. I used to be a lot. I used to be a lot. Why? Because I did not really know how to express myself and tell someone, hey, what you're doing just simply is not working for me, or could we try it another way? So what will I do? I would either block you out of my life or just entirely become really dramatic, and in the long run I would end up losing a lot of people. Yeah. So emotional maturity is something that you really need to work on, not just for this sort of relationship, but for all your relationships. Right now, I'm in a space where I do not even need to bottle things up. I can communicate. I can tell my husband, hey, what you're doing here is not making me happy. It's really, what you're doing is hurting me. Or could we do this differently? And you resolve it. When I go quiet or I do the silent treatment, what am I doing? I'm just prolonging, or I'm putting myself through all this pain for what? For nothing. Because simply I could have simply just communicated to him, and he can either choose to handle it, to work on it, or not. And then when they don't, then you do know, you understand, or you know where you stand. Yeah, you're in a better position to make a decision. But just be emotionally mature, and you do that by working on yourself, by reading. This just like all these other topics, it's huge, it's out there, you can read about it, you can um, work on it with either a coach or a therapist. Just work on being emotionally mature. I remember when I did therapy, and the therapist was asking me about my friends and my friendships, and I was like, oh, this one did this to me, I don't think she's good for me. And she will ask me, well, did you try and communicating it? And then I'll be like, okay, no, I didn't. I just assumed that this is what they meant. So even things like assumptions, those sometimes can be emotionally coming from being emotionally immature. So learn about emotional maturity. I used to desire to just be those people, and this is something that I found with my husband, and my now husband. He'll be very calm. Like I would ask him, "Aren't you mad? Aren't you angry?" He's just very This is just very calm, and this is another aspect of helping people. They have mastered how to handle the emotions. They're not really swayed by the emotion. They're angry. You really cannot tell when. Then we are emotional as women. I am very emotional, and I'm very opinionated as well. But I now have come to learn that, you know what, I don't really have to engage myself in all this back and forth, but I can just lean back and let my energy do the talking. Yes, let my energy do the talking. That is like, it's called boss moves. Yeah, you let your energy do the talking rather than you being dramatic, getting to cat fights, getting to back and forths, especially in the social media area where you have people just throwing in insults and words. This has really come in handy. So that will become a game changer to you. On to the sixth point: stop people pleasing. What do I mean by that? You need to live by your own rules. You need to know what you want and actually let everybody else adjust to that. If you go into the dating scene and somebody tells you, I do not like women who wear wigs, if I have not worked on me being what or who I want to be, I will be swayed by this person and I will become this person. But who am I pleasing? It's them, not me. So if I decide that I am going to show up as myself, I am attracting the person who will love me for me. I remember I always used to tell even most of my exes, please don't try to change me. You found me liking makeup, you found me doing things this way, please don't try to change me. And you will only do that once you're putting yourself first. Once you put yourself first, even the person who comes into your life will not push you around. They will not be trying to sway you or trying to oppress you, because that is where the abuse comes in. Yeah. So how about and this also comes into by cutting off people who are not necessary for you, or people who are bringing in unnecessary dramas, or people who are toxic to you. Why? There are people who are out there to just use you, not just as partners, but also as friends. When you put yourself first, these people actually fall off. You don't even need to tell them bye. They will actually fall off one by one. And the people who are good for you, the people who are meant to be with you, the people who are supposed to be walking in your journey will be there for you and with you. Yeah. You'll find that once, and I always tell my clients this, once you're doing the healing and this self-improvement work, actually you lose a lot of friends. When I used to not know what I want for myself, to just try to keep my everyone happy and felt like I needed to belong somewhere, I had so many friends. But right now I can tell you that I have very few but quality people in my life, because I do know that one, I need to put myself first. Two, I know who I am, and so I'm not defined by people. Yeah. So put yourself first. On to, is it the 6th or the 7th? I think it's the 7th. Note that you will attract everyone, but you only choose a certain type. What does that mean? I find some women texting me, oh, Jacinta, why am I only attracting married men? Why am I only attracting this sort of men? Why am I only attracting toxic men? Well, truth is, you're a beautiful young woman or a beautiful woman out there, and men will like you and they will try to score their shots. But that does not mean that you go choosing everyone into your life. Who are you open the door to? Yeah. The trick, especially in dating, is keep it moving. I used to tell myself, keep it moving. If you date someone and you feel like they're not aligned to what you're looking for, don't waste your time. Don't waste your energy on them. Keep it moving. I used to tell myself, if my man is number 50, maybe I'm in number 20. So I'm just giving a number. I'm not saying that these are all the men that I dated. But I used to tell myself, keep it moving. I'll have to just keep it moving until I get onto my person, whatever number there will be, especially being a mother and especially being a coach and being an entrepreneur and being in my 30s. Did not enable me to waste my time on people. And believe you me, when my man came, it took, I think, was it the third date for me to and no, I was not doing all these things. By the second date, I actually had an idea. Okay, I love being around him, so let me see where this goes. That was the idea. By the time the third date was, he officially asked me to be his girlfriend. That was during the third date. Actually, the second date, he officially asked me to be his date, to be his girlfriend by the second date. So keep it moving. You don't owe anyone your time. Time is the only one thing that you never get back once it's gone. So you waste your time with people, especially in your 30s, and time starts picking up the pace as you're growing older. So keep it moving and just know that you'll attract so many people. I dated ran a lot of people. Some of them with their own issues. Some of them, yeah, would come to me and maybe they are having their own issues and baggages and all that. But you get to choose who you let into your life. Yeah. On to the 8th point, something that is very important. Are you ready to receive this good man into your life? Because we are always asking, but when the person comes, are you ready to receive him? I know I'm sounding like I'm preaching, but this is the truth. If you're not ready to receive this good man, he will come. He probably has come, but you will not even be able to keep him. What do I mean? Of all the things that I talked about there, about even sabotaging, like if you have not fixed aspects about you that could sabotage this relationship, he will leave. If you're there sitting and saying to yourself that men are trash or men are dogs, are you really ready to receive your good man? If today you wake up and you think, okay, I'm ready to receive my man, but then tomorrow you hear a story somewhere where you hear about a man who treated the wife or the girlfriend badly, and you're like, okay, all men are trash. How will you be able to receive a good man? Or what makes you think that you'll be different? Your mindset has to be in par with what you want. If you have decided that it's a good man that you want in your life, every other thing has to be blocked. The distractions. The people who say that women are trash, probably they are looking on in the dumpsters. Get off from there. Get out of the dustbins. Come find good men because there are a lot of good men out there. Listen to the positive stories. Listen to good things that people are saying out there about good men because they are there. A snippet into my life, I met or I started talking to my husband the evening when I was at this book launch and I was listening to my friend Rael. Yeah, Rael, if you know her on Facebook. And she was also having a book launch that day with, it was the husband's book launch. And they're this interracial couple and they were talking about how their relationship has worked. It has stood over the test of time. This was her second relationship and she got into it with children. And I was like, okay, so it does mean that this can actually happen. I can also find love. And she was among the many, many people who I have had the chance to encounter telling me about second chances. So I came into this believing that my good man is out there. My second chance in love is out there. And there is nothing anybody could tell me. I don't know, I was hearing by then was the time where there were these stories of women being killed on dates. And I'm like, okay, why even? I'm not judging anyone here. Forgive me if you feel like I'm talking to you directly. But why would a woman feel the need to just go with a man at night, get an Airbnb? You hardly even know this person. So I was like, no, could never be me. Let's meet. Let me meet this person during the daylight where I can see myself and see him, know what you're carrying, and all those things. That was what was going on during that time. But I did not choose to focus on that. I chose to focus on this other positive side, which told me that there is a short and a second chance at love and that true love exists. Yeah. Finally, I think this is the what? The 8th point. Pray. Pray for your mind. I have always talked about spiritual grounding. That if you do not believe in something, then you'll believe in anything and everything. And nowadays there's so many things to believe in. Like I said, I'm not here to preach. But because this is what people start with, you're always praying for this person, but you do not do all the other 7 first points that I've spoken about. So your person can even come, but either you sabotage, push them away, or your mindset is not in tune with what you're looking for. Then this will not work. Let prayer be the cover up of all this work that you've done. In case you've not gone to that video, I did a video with my husband Marcus, and you heard me say that I really prayed for my mind. I prayed, and every single thing that I prayed for actually came in form of my now husband. But it did not just start there. Before we got to that point, I had to do this work on myself for me to become this woman that is worthy of this man. Yeah. And the whole time, let me just tell you, when you're praying, either one of you is being prepared or both of you are being prepared. Had I met him before I did this work, probably I would not have met him. And even if I did, I would probably have pushed him away. Yeah. So pray and believe because it happens and it will happen. And if you're praying, continue praying, but alongside it, do the work. That will become the differentiator between someone who is just praying and not doing the work and someone who is doing the work and praying. Yeah. So pray for this man. It is said, ask and you will receive. So our good God will not be so unkind. And if you're not getting it, probably it's because you're not ready for him yet or he's not ready for you. Remember, even my husband had a lot of work that he was doing for himself and in himself. And it was only when God felt like this is the, like everything aligned and everything, it was like this is the time. So much happened so effortlessly. Why? Because it was the time. But had we met maybe earlier, probably it would not have been the right time. Probably we still had a lot of work that we need to do to us on ourselves and all that, and it would not have been the perfect time. So if you're still praying and you've done this work and you're wondering why is he not here yet, probably it's because he's still being prepared for you, or there's still things about you that you still need to fix. Yeah. So I know this is a longer video than the usual, but I really felt the need to just talk about all this because it is something that I'm very passionate about, something that I was going through last year. But here I am now, happily married to the love of my life, and I would wish every woman to also have this amazing, happy place, to be in this happy place of theirs, yeah. And this is only for women who wish to find a good man, yeah. Please don't be coming in my DMs telling me that a man is not everything. I will not say that they are everything, but this is for those women who are looking for good men, yeah. So don't forget to subscribe, share this video, like it, give it a big thumbs up. It makes me very motivated to know that I have people who are watching. And comment down below, tell me what's your takeaway from this. Which phase of your life are you at? Are you working on yourself, or are you now in the waiting period? Pray, or is your good man with you as well? Like, let's share, especially the good stories. Yeah, we need more positivity in this world that has so much negativity. So until next time, bye bye.